ago in the vlog, I made a video about how I didn't make a video, and I was very upset with myself. I'm getting the similar feelings that I had on that day right now. I need to do something to get the juices flowing. If you don't have coffee readily available, a nice blizzard will get the juices flowing. Like, I mean an actual blizzard, not like the frozen dessert from Dairy Queen. Still feeling a little slow and sluggish, so I'm going to turn things over now to Monet to do a little vlogging for us today. I apologize about there being no footage from my wife today. It was a little bit of a busy day for her.
I never promised it. You never told me.
I'm not throwing you under the bus. The Monet Heredia vlog will come very soon, don't worry. Shifts. That is what today is really all about, not just with our passage, but even something pretty major that happened today in the Heredia family. It's pretty often that Justice and I do what we call wrestling when we're running around upstairs and we're just throwing like soccer balls and footballs and Nerf balls at each other. That's what we call wrestling. Zion's up there like just kind of sitting doing his own thing, but we're just chucking stuff at each other as hard as we can, throwing stuff at the dog. I think she likes it. And tonight was a major shift for us in how we play that game, or at least Zion's participation in that game. In past events, whenever we would be playing that game, he'd get hit, he'd start crying. But tonight was different. I remember I had the football and I was getting ready to throw it at Jules, and I threw it at her, and it ricocheted off of the dog and started careening towards the baby and nailed him right in the eye, just bam, just like whoa. And he had the most like manly reaction to it that a 15-month-old could have. He just sat there and just went like, oh! I was like, yes. To me, that was a major shift for us in the Heredia family. The fact that Zion can now, take a good licking. No, that's not the best way to put it. That Zion can participate in more of the fun, kind of roughhousing stuff with the boys. And like I was telling you, our passage deals with a major shift. In Ezekiel chapter 40, what happens is we are all of a sudden 25 years into the exilic period. And God takes Ezekiel and he brings him in a vision upon this hill, this mountain in Israel, and really chapters 40 and 41, and then a few of the following chapters later cover the details that God gives Ezekiel in terms of what the new temple will look like when his people return and they are allowed to rebuild the temple. Let's take a quick look at it using the Logos Bible infograph thing. Welcome once again to another edition of Cool Graphics with Greg. Okay, so like I said, we are covering Ezekiel chapter 40 and 41, and as you can see here, this is a layout of what Ezekiel would have been revealed, what God would have revealed to Ezekiel in the vision covering these 2 chapters. And as you can tell, these different places are numbered. Here, number 1 is the outer wall. Number 2, this is the eastern gate. 4, that's the northern gate. Then they had kind of these inner gates here. But you can go down. Well, I don't know if you can. If you have Logos, you can do this. If not, sorry. But here, these things are numbered. Chambers of the outer court, 3. All these different things that kind of give us as accurate of a depiction as we could have with what we have in the biblical record, with how these things possibly were laid out. And then here in the corner, we have an overhead view of what these chambers, the purpose of these chambers, what they would have served. Not everything here on this graph we see in these first 2 chapters. There's some more things mentioned in chapter 46 that we'll get to later. But this is just to give you an idea of what the temple would have looked like, or at least what God would have shown Ezekiel for the temple to look like whenever, really in 45 years, when Cyrus would then allow the people of Israel to go back and to rebuild the temple, rebuild the altar, which is actually the very first thing that they rebuild when they go back is the altar there. And you see, I believe it's number 12. Let's go down here and see. Yes, the altar. And we see that in chapter 40, verse 47, as well as chapter 43. So that just gives you a little bit of imagery here of the vision that God gives Ezekiel here in these 2 chapters. This is a very key moment in the history of Israel, and even for us in the vlog. We only have a few days left in the book of Ezekiel, then we'll move very quickly through the rest of the Old Testament, which will be the prophet Daniel, Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther, and then we're in the New Testament. Like, we are experiencing a major shift for ourselves in the vlog today. And in one way or another, we all experience major shifts in life. And I don't know exactly what lesson there is to be learned from these shifts that happen in our life that change the way that life happens and how it goes. But I think it's important in the midst of all of it to know that God is still working and that He doesn't change.